Even though the Bears are on a 2-game winning streak, Ben Johnson is not satisfied with the Bears offense right now. He's going to make a switch at left tackle, switching to the Canadian Theo Benedet after the bye week. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears news update video, which I'll be doing anytime the Chicago Bears news going on. And this is a very massive piece of news, honestly, because the left tackle position is one of the most important positions on the entire team. You're protecting Caleb Williams' blind side. You're going up against dominant edge rushers. So it is a very important part of the team, and it seems like Ben Johnson is not happy with the play of Braxton Jones so far this season and also in camp. So he's switching to the undrafted guy, Theo Benedet. And this is according to Brad Biggs. It's not official just yet. Ben Johnson has not stated this himself just yet, but Brad Biggs is super reliable. Like, if he's saying this, it's probably going to happen. Like 95% chance it is going to happen. And the writing was on the wall for Braxton Jones, because if you guys saw in the last game, Braxton got benched. Okay, we ended that game with Theo at left tackle and Ozzy Trapilo at right tackle. So, yeah, Ben was not the biggest Braxton Jones fan. It seemed like a lot of that had to do with his run blocking. The Bears' run game has been one of the worst in all of football. A lot of the blame does go to DeAndre Swift for being one of the most inefficient backs that has such poor vision, cannot get yards after contact. But Ben also thinks a lot of it has to do with the blocking up front. He said that, "I don't think our running struggles were a reflection of DeAndre. He's a guy that continues to run the ball very hard, even though the yards per carry aren't where any of us want it to be right now. He's as frustrated as anybody. He's very prideful in what he can do and what he can bring to the table." And then in Brad Biggs' article, he talks about the expected shift to Benedet, an undrafted free agent last year from the University of British Columbia, could be with an eye towards sparking the ground game. "He is a really good run blocker first and foremost," Johnson said Monday. "It probably took him just a minute to settle in on Sunday. It didn't matter which side it was going to be on, right or left. He's equally proficient in either one. He's just had such a good spring and summer for us that I've got a lot of confidence." And this is a lot of praise going to an undrafted guy that barely has any reps in him as a starter. But if Ben Johnson is saying these things, I'm going to choose to trust him, because he is a much smarter offensive mind than me, than any of you guys watching. Like, he knows offensive football at the highest level. So if he thinks the blocking with Braxton Jones is not good enough, who am I to question that? Braxton has been serviceable for the Bears for the last couple years. He has not been dominant by any means. He's not been, really good, but he's been okay the last couple years. But, it seems like Ben Johnson is not satisfied with just okay, as he should not be, right? Like, we should always be looking to upgrade. Now, I won't lie, it's pretty scary going to an undrafted guy that has such little experience in the NFL. He's going to have to go up against dominant edge rushers, some of the best in the game. So that does scare me a little bit, but again, Theo had a fantastic training camp. He performed every single day in camp. He had a good preseason. Last game he played, when he switched over to the left side, he looked a little bit better. On the right side, he did struggle against Max Crosby, but who would not struggle against Max Crosby, right? He's one of the best edge rushers in all of football. So do I expect Theo to be elite or really good right away? Probably not, but who knows what could happen, right? Like, we've seen crazier things happen all the time. You get offensive linemen from, later rounds, undrafted guys that end up to be studs. So if that's the case with Theo, if he can spark our ground game especially, then, I'm a big fan of the change. It seems like the Bears do not want to keep Braxton Jones beyond this year, obviously, because they drafted Ozzy Trapilo. They have Theo here. They still got Kiran Amegaji, who, Kiran is probably a bust at this point, but like, they drafted, an offensive lineman pretty early to probably replace Braxton Jones. Now, Ozzy, I don't know what the deal is with him. Maybe he's just not ready right now to play left tackle, and it seems like they view him more as a right tackle at this point in time. So Theo beating out Ozzy, I know some Bears fans are not the biggest fan of that happening, because they think that this means that Ozzy is a bust, but Ozzy actually had a pretty good game on the right side, when he did have to take over midway through that game. I know his PFF rankings were not really good from the last game, but I thought that Max Crosby's impact was at least not as strong as it was in the first half. So, still a lot of things to improve on, but Ozzy still has potential as well. And Darnell Wright is coming back soon anyways, guys. Like, I don't think Darnell Wright is going to relinquish his starting spot by any means, because he's one of the best right tackles in football. He's struggled with penalties this year, but as a run blocker, as a pass protector, he is fantastic. So Darnell Wright is not going anywhere. I think it's going to be Theo on the left side, Wright on the right side, and we'll see what happens from there. I'm really happy that Ben Johnson is the type of coach that's not satisfied with the status quo, because he very easily could have been like, oh, the Bears are 2-2. We're on a 2-game winning streak, so we don't really have to change anything. But he clearly realizes that you cannot keep up having the worst ground game in football if you want to win more games down the stretch. Okay, it may work against teams like the Cowboys, like the Raiders, but if you want to beat teams like the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions, the Baltimore Ravens, you have to be able to run the football. And right now, the Bears have no ground game whatsoever. We rank bottom of the league in basically every rushing category. And one thing I do want to point out, this is via Cole Noble on Twitter, but he brought up a pretty good stat. He said that not to put blame on one person, but this is pretty evident. DeAndre Swift with Braxton Jones at left tackle, he had 6 carries for 1 yard, but DeAndre Swift with Theo Benedet at left tackle, he had 7 carries for 34 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. So it did seem like when Theo went in, the run game did get a little bit better. Now, I'm still not a big fan of Swift, guys. Like, I want the Bears to move off of Swift as soon as possible at the end of this year. I think he's not a good running back, but if Theo can help him out a little bit, get a little bit more of a push in the run game, help Kyle Monangai too, then this could be a fantastic switch going over to Theo. Again, in pass protection, still a little bit worried because I'm not sure if he can handle some of the elite edge rushers in the game. But again, we have to trust Ben Johnson on this. I'm a firm believer in Ben Johnson with all the good things he's been doing, especially in the last 2 weeks. So I have no reason to not trust him at this point. So hopefully this move ends up working out for the better. But leave your comments down below. What do you guys think about this switch? Do you guys think that Ozzie can still factor into this tackle rotation at any point? Maybe he could be the 6th offensive lineman, kind of like Dan Skipper was for Ben Johnson back with the Lions. But yeah, leave your thoughts down below, guys. As always, bear down.